Hey everybody, it's MysterE live from the River House. Of course, it's recorded to you, but it's live to me. And today is the daily BS Twin Flame Report, where we seek to find the truth, separate it away from the myth, and then look at the myth, bring it to the truth, so that only the truth remains about love and relationships. And if you didn't follow that, that's okay, because neither did I. But let's see what we can come up with. I've got the 514 Tarot deck and the Wisdom Oracle of the Black Sheep. And you'll notice on these cards, there's two black sheep, and I have a book back here called The Gift is Listening, and there's a poem in there called Twin Flame. And I've been a twin flame coach and been on this journey for a long, long time, and it's not exactly what we think it is, and that's what came up in yesterday's read. So moving forward with we don't really know what this twin flame journey is. We know it's a journey about self-love, and when we let go of any of our ideas that somebody else is going to complete us, or that there's something wrong with the situation we're in, and we can start coming into a very, very beautiful, peaceful, harmonious relationship with ourselves as the one. And when we're fully in ourselves as one, or at least on the path of a dedication to finding that we are in our own oneness and in our power, then all of a sudden we can have the kind of relationship experience called the twin flame experience. So in every myth there's truth, and myth is that there's one person and only one person for us on earth. All right, first card is the Six of New Earths that came out. So 6 is a success card. Traditionally, that number usually signifies something coming together, doing well. The New Earth suit is the 5th suit. So we call this 514 Tarot because we have a 5th suit of 14 cards, Ace through King, right? And we've added the New Earth suit because we were, quite frankly, in this community over the years, after reading some of the books that we had worked on and had some of the beautiful discussions and made some of the fabulous art and had some of the parties with lots of people, we began to suspect there was a better way. 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 So we added a 5th suit to honor the element of spirit. So now we've got earth, wind, water, and fire, and spirit. And that brings us the 5th card deck, and it gives us new possible outcomes. So in the 6 of New Earths, let's see what that is. The 6 of New Earths is masculine desire. So each one of these cards, people have been telling me for years, MysterE, you got to make a tarot deck out of this book, The Gift is Listening. So when I was formulating this tarot deck, before I'd put the pictures of the community on there, I figured that almost each one of them had their own corresponding poem in The Gift is Listening. So this one's called Masculine Desire, and if you'll just bear with me, I think it'll be worth our while. Because I'm learning too. This is brand new for me. I haven't pulled this card up yet in the read. A man's needs are irrelevant to the extent of his desire. Separate your neediness from your life's recipe. Allow desires to be born of the heart. Your higher self has the blueprint. Any man attempting to misuse a woman's desire is interrupting the most powerful and natural force in the universe. Take your horizontal desire for control and sex and shift the desire to your heart. This is the beginning of reclaiming your divine masculine power. It begins with one simple question: how may I serve? So on the twin journey, the twin flame journey, we're not here for relationship satisfaction. I hate to break that news to you so clearly. I mean, you will in this journey experience the uttermost ecstatic highs of having that kind of relationship, but it'll also along the way incinerate your ego so that you can really discover your purpose for being on this earth right now, which is to serve others. So this came out of the picture here. Everybody in the card, that's the night that the amusement park came out and was the answer to my question, which is how may I serve? And the amusement park came out and actually gave us the 5th ace, which is these. So without that amusement park book, that's the picture of it. It's a success-oriented card, and it was a group of people. There's 6 people in that, and we all supported one another to get this work out to the world, which foreshadowed the pandemic and all the changes that were going to happen afterwards. So the first card out in that sort of position is telling us that, be sacred in your relationship. Treat the other. It doesn't matter if they're masculine or feminine. It doesn't matter if you even put those kind of labels on it. It doesn't really matter. It's like coming together with a sacred purpose yields sacred results. And that when we do this, we can create, manifest, visualize through our visualization, through our intention. We can manifest and create outcomes that we couldn't have created in our old linear rational way of thinking, that to transcend our old ideas about only certain number of outcomes, i.e. four suited card decks. Now we have 5, we have more because we've added the element of compassion. So this is about compassionate success. Success is compassion, compassion is success. We can change our minds about what the idea of success is, we can help a lot of people. Because we're trying to reach the bar that society has set for us, and is it going to work? Wow, look at this. The 2 of Daggers comes out, and this corresponds to the Goddess Wrath poem number 53. In the traditional tarot, the swords crossed in the 2 of swords means like a conflicted mind, or I don't know to go this way or that way. In our deck, it sort of has mean someone that doesn't know what they want, which is very impossible to get what you want if you don't know what you want, or you keep changing your wants to suit everybody else's wants, and then you feel like you've been left out in the cold because your needs didn't get met, but you didn't really know how to communicate them. So this figure here is a wolf in sheep's clothing, to kind of make a play on our black sheep thing. Like sometimes there's a wolf in sheep's clothing, right? And they've got a conflicted mind and we don't know it yet. And that can upset what we're really trying to do in the world, which is compassionate enterprise, to really be that success is compassion. Well, it starts with self-compassion and learning how to heal a conflicted mind. And that's what we have to do. And I think that's what the message is. So, 2, what did I say it was? 53, Goddess Wrath. It is not foul. Find love for the goddess hiding behind her projections. She's like a great feline growling and showing off her teeth. She is merely testing her environment. Is it safe to emerge with my gifts? Your acknowledgement of the alchemy at hand channels rays of light through your hearts. Fear is swept away in a river of light, knowing that one part of God cannot hurt another. Knowing that one part of God cannot hurt another. So what we're learning in this new tarot deck that we're working is the swords don't exist, right? Like the figure that was in that chair didn't have a wolf's head and didn't have knives in it, and that doesn't exist, except sometimes in our perception we make up these situations and we get into a situation, and merely people are really just testing their environment. And if they have the conflict inside of them, then what our job is to see beyond the conflict. And if we can see beyond the conflict and we understand that we don't have to engage in the conflict, and the conflict doesn't have to happen, right? And so it's about knowing that if you can't be hurt, if one part of God, which we're all part of God's, if one person cannot hurt another because we're all God, it's impossible to hurt one another. Think about how that changes your vibrationary sequence. Think about how then you can step into new compassionate enterprises and let some truth come out into the world and really assist humanity when you know you can't be hurt. Because if you know you can't be hurt, there's no risk you can take, because you're just following your guidance, and there's no way to get hurt along the journey. You keep opening up your heart. I mean, this is the most amazing thing. This card comes up nearly every day. I mean, you guys are going to laugh when you see this. If you've been watching the videos, it's like, also, so we got the 6 and the 8. That's a 14. That's a sacred number. So the 6 and the 8 out of the new Earth suit, right? The new outcome. And the 8 card is all about alchemy. And it's my good friend hiding behind the sign there says, slow down. Are you open to the possibility of magic? Are you open to the possibility of magic? A lot of times it's interesting, and even in this card, the figure is sitting down. So it's just a slow down card, and sit. And when you slow down and open up to the possibility of magic, it's like those swords can just kind of open up, and then all of a sudden you've allowed a crevice to come in. You've opened your mind because you haven't engaged the swords themselves. You haven't engaged the conflict itself that's inside your mind or inside the mind of someone else. You haven't engaged it. You make a choice to look beyond the conflict and say, there's nothing there. I'm way more focused on, the mystical, magical of the world, rather than getting stuck into an ego battle. So I'm going to slow down and be open to the possibility of magic, see where it takes me. right? See where it takes me. So in the twin flame journey, it's like that's what we learn, is that we are getting these high vibrational relationships and we are mirrors to one another. And if we're experiencing something, it's because it's, most likely being shared in the union. And if we know how to make this communication, we understand that our minds and hearts are joined, especially with someone that we're intimately related with, that there really is this shared third entity that happens in relationships. So, if one person's feeling conflict, the conflict's going to show up in the mirror of their partner. And when we really understand this process, we slow down and we're open possibility of magic. We can transcend these conflicts and literally cut them out of our consciousness so that they don't have to come up in our life. And that's what the black sheep are trying to tell everybody, is there's a new way, there's a different way to love. It's an ancient way to love. It's not a new way to love. It's an ancient way to love, but we forgot it. We covered it up with lust and greed and what can we get out of the situation, rather than going, no, I'm here on a twin flame journey, which means that I'm going to be on open to the possibility of magic on how I can serve my fellow brothers and sisters on this journey of enlightenment. Because if you're even looking at the twin flame journey, most people are looking at it as a satisfaction, a way to have this great relationship and get everything they want. They're still looking at it through the ego. You got to blast the ego out of the way and go, no, I'm here to serve humanity, which means I don't have an ego, and I don't get to have my desires fulfilled like everybody else is, because I want something better than that. I'm going to slow down and open up to the possibility of magic. Yeah. So first wisdom card out is explore the miracle of you. And that would go right hand in hand with the slow down right there. It's like, explore the miracle of you. You already are a miracle. The person that's holding the swords, the figure in tarot, the conflicted mind, they're not exploring the miracle of themselves. They're following their mind into possible outcomes and trying to gauge whether or not the possible outcome that they just saw with their mind is what they want, or do they want to go back into the other side of what they've visualized. And so they have this like conflict inside. But no, if you slow down, you open the possibility of magic and explore the miracle of you, then you'll find that there's really an opportunity for success with compassion. Compassion is success, to go beyond this idea of separation and that, misusing our desires, misusing our vision, leads to conflicted states. But to really be one with what is and explore the miracle with you gives us different outcomes in relationships. And then the last card that came up is the Statue of Liberty, and she says, I am you. Well, you get it, everybody, already? I am you. I am you. The light that's shining out from me to you, namaste, is the light also shining back from you to me, namaste. I am you. We are all one and the same. I am you. That Statue of Liberty has a light up there because it's reminding us not that we're better than anybody, but that everybody has the light. And when you open up your heart, like is in that mandala, we can share the light with one another, and we can really have these beautiful, successful enterprises, whatever they are. An enterprise can be anything from a relationship to a community home to a restaurant to a book to anything. It's like an enterprise. It's like a way of like blasting your gifts into the world. It's like, how can you be enterprising in the world? How can you join together with other people and look for ways to play the game of life with everybody gets what they want? That's what success is, compassion, helping everybody see that merely by being compassionate and being a loving person that they can be successful and give to the planet in a way that's beautiful. And I think what we're being asked to recognize is when we explore the miracle of ourselves and we recognize how beautiful and exquisite and extraordinary we are, that we're merely a spark of God, we can then pull our judgment out of it. What did he just say? When we recognize that we're simply a spark of God, that we can pull our judgment out of. In other words, we can't be better than we already are, and we can't be worse than we are. There actually is no judgment to be had of ourselves because we are a spark of God. And all of a sudden, you pulled your judgment out of the whole situation. You're like, oh my God, I have been putting my ideas about this, about God's universe, and then beating myself up and pretending to be someone I wasn't, and running around in this conflicted mind, not recognizing the whole time that we are all one. And we're all one. If I would just spend a little bit of time with myself and open up the dimensions of my heart, then my life's going to work much better, and I'm going to show up in relationships much better as well. 14:14 on the clock just went by. I'm way over. This has been our message today. Have the best day of your life.